Hello. As we start to understand the process for diabetes reversal or remission, let us first try and define what does diabetes reversal mean. We define it in terms of six things. Number one, our HbA1c needs to be below 5.7. Number two, our fasting blood sugar should be below 110 and our postprandial blood sugar should be below 160. Number three, our insulin response needs to be efficient with no sign of insulin resistance. Number four, our triglyceride levels and lipid profile need to be normal. Number five, we need all of this without any medicine. And most importantly, number six, we should be able to metabolize normal food. And when we consume normal food, there should be no changes to how our body responds and to all the parameters. As we just saw, the key to restoring health is to solve for the underlying root cause. The question is, how do we track progress against this and know that we are on the right path? Our framework contains 3 steps, which is what helps us measure progress down this path till we unlock good health, and then obviously it's easy for us to sustain that good health. The first goal or first step in our framework is what we call symptomatic reversal. The goal in this step is to ensure that our metabolism keeps improving and our glucose levels come down, and iteratively we reduce medicine. And the goal is to do this till we are off all our medicine and our fasting and postprandial glucose levels are in a healthy range. We then move to the next important step in this framework, which is what we call clinical reversal. This is where our underlying metabolism becomes better. This is where we fix visceral fat issues and improve the way our insulin works. And the way to measure this is essentially we get to a normal HbA1c. We have our HOMA-IR, which is insulin resistance measure, to be okay, and our fasting insulin levels are low. We then get to the third important step, which is called stabilizing insulin or insulin stability. And the reason this step becomes super important is because from the numbers, we get comfortable, glucose levels are okay, HbA1c is okay, and yet do we still need to do that? But this is where we bank the outcomes that we've got. We need to continue to follow a restrictive regimen till essentially our metabolism becomes completely okay, our levels of insulin response are completely fine. The measures we use to track progress here are essentially what we call an insulin efficiency test, a functional glucose tolerance test, right? And this is when we know that our insulin has stabilized, and after which gets the easy part. The easy part is how do you sustain the good health that you've unlocked, and it's quite simple and very simple to do that. As we just saw, the reversal path and framework, at Livolt Life, we've adapted it. We call it the Livolt Life Health Restore Blueprint. And this has 3 big steps. The first phase is what we call restore health. The second phase is what we call stabilize health. And the third phase is what we call sustain health. And in health restore or the restore health phase, we have 2 parts. The first we call eliminate medicines, and the second we call improve metabolism. The eliminate medicines corresponds to the symptomatic reversal, which is where we solve for glucose toxicity. The improve metabolism part is what corresponds to the clinical reversal. This is where we solve for insulin toxicity, right? And then we get to the stabilized metabolism, which is where we ensure that we get our insulin behavior to stabilize and ensure it remains that way, and which is when we get to the sustain metabolism or sustain health phase, which is what is us ensuring we maintain the good health that we've unlocked for the rest of our lives. Now, in the health restore path, the eliminate medicines, like I said, happens fairly quickly, right? Your glucose levels come down, we reduce your medication, and this happens iteratively till you're off all medicine and your fasting and postprandial glucose levels are fine. Please note, This does not mean you've reversed your diabetes, right? Typically, it takes anywhere between 6 to 10 weeks for a person to get through this part of the journey. And in some cases sooner, some cases a little later. And then you transition to the next phase, which is where you help in stabilizing your metabolism, getting your insulin behavior to work well, taking care of your visceral fat, etc., and ensuring that your HOMA-IR, HbA1c, fasting insulin levels are all fine. This takes anywhere between 10 to 20 weeks. Now, I've given a broad range, and you may be wondering why. One thing you need to understand is the timeline is different for different people, and it depends on what is your biological age, what is your ailment or diabetic age, what is your ailment stage, because logically you can understand if you're younger, you get fixed faster, right? You heal faster. The older you are, the more time it takes. Similarly, the lesser the time you've had diabetes, the faster it becomes okay. And the greater the time you've had diabetes, it ends up taking more time. Similarly, do you have your diabetes in control? It'll be easier to fix. And the worse off your diabetes, the more time it takes. And all of this is what we build into what we call a personalized diabetes improvement plan. And this is something perhaps we built for you, and we know for you what's the timeline each of these phases is going to take. One other point I'd like to make is for the health restore phase, it needs a precision solution. It needs strict adherence, right? And this is why we request you partner with us, right? Let us hold your hand and lead you through this phase, motivate you, etc., because this needs precision nutrition and our solutions being designed to ensure you're able to meet that and get to your end goal. And we have various solutions. You can choose the right solution for you for that. And when we get to the stabilized phase, while it is not as strict, it is still something where we need to maintain a similar regimen. The goal is to keep our insulin levels low so that our insulin response gets stabilized. And this could again take anywhere between 8 to 16 weeks, right? Again, depending on, like I said, your biological age, ailment stage, etc. In this, we can enable you to do it on your own. We can help you with tools that will enable you to do the journey on your own, or if you want convenience, you can do it with us. And this is something we'll do jointly to ensure we get the full reversal taken care of. And that is when we get to the final phase, which is sustain health. And this is where it's completely in your hands. We will enable you. All you need to follow is a simple, balanced regimen for most of the time. You are allowed a few indulgences every now and then, but this is something that is not too complex, something you'll be able to follow on your own. And this is the way you will be able to sustain the good health you've unlocked for the rest of your life. So, listening to this, it may seem technical, but this is the journey your body needs to go through for you to completely restore your health and reverse your diabetes. You might be excited to understand, this is great. How do I apply it? What does the solution look like? And that is exactly what we'll cover next.